Well, hey, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here in our quaint little studio. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. I'm joined in studio today by Jonathan Voico.
Hello, good morning.
Writer, director, producer Robert Meyer Burnett.
Waiting for disclosure, John.
Which one's that?
Oh, it's the UFOs, the UAP.
The
Oh, you're
documentary.
into all that.
Which probably the Spielberg movie's based on.
Yep. And most importantly, of course, though, guys, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here, making our little show part of your day, a show where we celebrate and talk about the things that we love. Movies, movie news, TV streaming, all those things that give us joy. That's what we like to talk about. And we're so glad that you're here to make this show part of your day. By the way, there's another way you can take in our show. Listen, you can't always be in front of a YouTube video. Maybe you're going to be driving, you're commuting, maybe you're on a treadmill. That's why you need to go right now and subscribe to the John Campea Show podcast feed, either on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice, so that the audio feed is there when you need it. Now, here's how today's show's going to go, guys. We're going to start off by talking about a few predetermined topics we got lined up for you. Then in the second part of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. If you are watching our show live, and you got to be watching live to do this, and you have a thought or a theory or something comes to your mind or a topic you'd like us to address, go ahead and use the super chat feature in the live chat. Send on in your question, and as long as it's appropriate for us to address in the show, we'll answer it in the second part of the show. All right. Update. Lottery watch.
Oh.
Bought 4 lottery tickets the other day.
Can I borrow some money?
All of them won. All of them won. One of them won $10. And the 3 other ones each won $1.
You're on your way to your dreams.
So we spent $60 to make $13.
Well, according to the internet, if you had $20, you can really start trading today.
It's true. You really can. But the other update I needed to give you guys was the fact that, hey, after tomorrow's show, I hit the road in Colossus, the new van, and
That's
head
what
out.
you named him?
Yep. You know, we have a black Tesla that we named Moon Knight.
Right.
We have a white Tesla that Anne named Winter Soldier. So we have this big silver van, and we decided Colossus. So that's the name of the van. But I leave tomorrow after the show to head on the next leg of our movie meetup rounds. And we're doing 3 cities on this round of our movie meetups. On Tuesday, that's next Tuesday, November the 18th, I'm going to be at the Cinemark Dallas XD and IMAX at the 6:55 p.m. screening of Running Man. The next night, on Wednesday, November 19th, I'm going to be at the 7:20 screening of Now You See Me, Now You Don't at the Galaxy Theater, Austin. And then I'm coming to Orlando. And on Monday, November the 24th, I'm going to be at the 6:30 p.m. screening of Wicked for Good at the AMC Disney Springs. The movie meetups are simple. If you want to come and join us, just go to the movie theater's website, buy yourself a movie ticket like normal, and come watch the movie with us. And then after the movie's done, I'm going to hang out for an hour or so out front of the theater and meet people, take pictures, do whatever. And I hope that if you're in those areas, you guys will come and join us. All right, guys. With that down, let's get things started here, shall we? We're going to start off with this. You know, we live in a completely different era now because for as long as I can remember, of course, the 3 rules of life that you cannot avoid: death, taxes, video game movies suck. It was a truism, an immutable truism, Rob, that there was no changing, there was no escaping. But in the last couple of years, we now live in a bit of a different world than that. Obviously, Last of Us came out. Sonic was great. And then came Fallout on Amazon, the same place that's going to be giving us God of War. And I was never a Fallout player, really. I mean, I watched Dennis play some Fallout. I played the mobile game. What was it called? Like Fallout Shelter. Yeah, I played that. But I granted, I don't know a lot about the lore, but I sat down and I watched Fallout, man. And it's great.
Great.
It got nominated for Best Drama Series at the Emmys. That's how good it was. One of my favorite guys in entertainment, Walton Goggins, who's of course was in Sons of Anarchy, which we're going to be talking a little bit more about later on in the show. Well, now the trailer for Fallout Season 2 has come out. And all I can say is this. This is the highest compliment I can give this trailer. Had I never seen Season 1, and I knew nothing about Fallout, because sometimes we as fans, we see a trailer to something, but to something that we already love, so we think the trailer's great when maybe it's not all that great. Forget Fallout Season 1. Forget the game. Forget it. This trailer is awesome. Even if no game called Fallout or any of the Fallout games ever existed, and even if you never saw Season 1, Rob, if I just turned on the internet today in a complete vacuum and I saw that trailer, I'm like, what is that? I gotta watch it. It looked insane. It looks like it's got all that heart, that fun charm, tongue-in-cheek, but horrific, all at the same time. The cinematography looked great. I mean, everything about it just felt dynamic and fun. And of course, Walton Goggins. I mean, this guy can do no wrong. I loved this trailer, Rob. I cannot wait. And, Jonathan was saying earlier, he was saying, almost forgot that this thing was coming out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, because we live in an age where all these shows on these streamers come out one every 4 years. One season comes out every 4 years. And here we are getting this one a lot faster than I think people assume. Anyway, I thought the trailer was great, Rob. You and I have not talked about it at all. But you had a chance to watch the trailer. What did you think about it?
Like you, I was a huge fan of the first season, and I did not play the game. Look at this. How cool is that? The first 10 minutes of the first episode of the show, I was in. I'm like, okay. It was the scene where Walton Goggins in his normal was like a Western star,
right,
washed up and goes entertains people at parties. And then the bombs fall, and then, then you go. I mean, Christopher. This is C-Note's brother, Jonathan, of Westworld fame, and I think this show exceeds the first season of Westworld. I really loved, but then it kind of got off.
Oh, it fell off.
Yeah, wacky.
Yeah.
This, I was really curious to see this trailer, and watching this trailer, I was wondering, how could this be as good as season 1 was? Well, like you said, John. I watched this trailer 4 times, and I'm like, I am so in. I am so in on this, and I can't wait to see it. And like you, I thought it would take 2-3. This is a lavishly produced show with many visual effects, and it can't be cheap to make this. And
the art design alone, just on set.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable. The show looks incredible. And I was really surprised how quickly we're getting this season 2. Because I thought this would be a show that would for sure take a long time. But then coming off of Westworld, which whether you liked it or not, that show is a big show to produce. And that was pretty consistent in terms of the years that it came out. So this went to the top of my list of things I'm excited about. I can't wait. And we don't have to wait long.
Again, there is, in a world where we had people with worse technology producing 23 episode seasons every single year, there is no excuse for shows needing 2 to 3 years, sometimes more, in between seasons. I'm sorry. Well, John, no. I don't want to hear it. There's absolutely no excuse for it. I love that we're now getting shows like The Pit, which is now getting literally, we're getting new season every year. I love that we're getting Fallout this quick.
Only 3 months. Well, with 10 episodes, it gives them more time. Remember, we used to get Star Trek was 26 episodes.
Yeah.
And they would shoot. You got the episodes from September to June, once a week.
And they would be shooting episodes of that season when the season already started.
Yeah,
Oh,
of
yeah.
course. Of course.
Oh, yeah.
I remember I told the story a few weeks ago, but I remember talking to Stephen Amell, who is the star of Arrow, on set. He was on set in Vancouver shooting one of the later episodes of the season. And on TV, we were already on season 5.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
right. So this is a different thing. Anyway, I'm just thrilled that this thing has come back as soon as it is. And I'm like Rob, I was super pleasantly surprised by the first season. I did not believe the second season would follow it up. I thought we would get the sophomore jinx, but this looks great. Anyway, guys, question is for you. Did you have a chance to see the trailer for Fallout Season 2? It looks pretty spectacular. Now, doesn't mean the season's going to be spectacular, but the trailer sure is good. Whatever you guys thought about it, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this. You know, considering one of the biggest complaints I had about, say, you know, Godzilla, one of the more recent one in the monster universe, with the one with Bryan Cranston, is that, you know, for a movie called Godzilla, don't get a lot of Godzilla. And, you know, whenever they focus too much on people, or even talk about some of the Transformers movies, you know, one of the common complaints about a lot of the Transformers movies is that there are too many humans, right? That's been a common complaint. So when Monarch was coming out, and we found out, oh, it's a show about the humans kind of living in this world where Godzilla exists, I thought, well, I mean, look, you got Kurt Russell and his son playing the younger version of himself, which I thought was great. You got Anna Sawai from Shogun, who is now like one of my favorites out there. I'm looking forward to it, but I know how good it would be because it's going to be a show about people, not about the monsters. And yet somehow Monarch was fantastic. And I don't know if maybe it's because we went in knowing that this was a show about the people, about the characters, and maybe that adjusted our expectations. But it was really, I was pleasantly surprised by it. I thought it was great. The whole thing about the kids with their missing father who they thought was dead and all that kind of stuff. And again, the whole brilliant aspect of Kurt Russell playing the older version of his son's character or vice versa. That was all great. And it ended with a little bit of a time jump, and it was a really cool ending. Well, we found out two things today. Number one, as Deadline points out here, Kurt Russell, which we did not know for sure. Kurt Russell did confirm that he was going to be in season 2. Well, he didn't even have to tell us that, because about an hour after that, the trailer for Monarch season 2 came out. And if it wasn't for the trailer to Fallout season 2, which I thought was a little bit better than this, I would be saying this Monarch season 2 is the best trailer we're going to see this week. But the Fallout one was better. But we got Kong, which we suspected we were going to get because of the end of season 1. It just looked awesome. You know what it looked, Rob? It looked cinematic. It didn't look like they were making a TV show. Whereas I look at the trailer for like Mandalorian and Grogu, which is a movie and it feels more like a TV show. This is a TV show and it feels way more cinematic. So first of all, I never doubted Kurt Russell would really be back for this season.
No, I didn't either.
You got to have him back. You have to have him back. So that's good. But again, trailer, they knew the assignment. They fulfilled it. I thought it was great. It's, again, the job of any trailer is to take your enthusiasm, your anticipation level, if it's really low or if it's really high, and just bump it up a few notches. I was already excited about Monarch season 2. This made me even more excited to see it. Anyway, Rob, Kurt Russell returns. New trailer comes out for season 2. What are you thinking?
Dude, you know me. I love monsters. I've loved the Japanese, the whole kaiju universe since I was a little kid. And I love this show. I thought it was a lot of fun. Again, it comes down to the writing. You know, it comes down to the kind of, they take the universe seriously. And one of the things about the American monster movies is starting in 2014's Godzilla, that was a pretty serious take in terms of the tone of it.
Sure.
But by the time you get to Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire or whatever, it's just a joke. You know, it's just completely, there is no more effort to try and make this some kind of, and maybe giant monsters don't need an effort to make them seem realistic, but I prefer to believe, John. I want to believe, and Monarch is a show that takes the premise of giant monsters on Earth, seriously, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, and that's why I like it, because it's still something that you can believe in. I go see the New Empire and I'm like, I can't, it's all just a goof. And like, look, is there cool stuff in those movies? Yes. But I believe, John, these monsters are real. And I want a show that feels the same way, that believes in them. And this show does.
I remember in season 1, I think in a very close race with X-Men 2, when Nightcrawler attacks the White House, that maybe the best opening to a movie ever is in Batman versus Superman, when Bruce Wayne is rushing into the city as it's being destroyed by this fight. I mean, that's an amazing, amazing thing, because it gave us a look at an event we already saw and we already knew, but from a different point of view, which made us realize just how horrible and horrific it really was. When they start off Monarch with Anna Sawai's character, from her perspective of Godzilla rumbling through town.
Yeah.
It made you appreciate the horror of it. Like, yeah, okay, in this iteration of the movies, Godzilla's kind of the hero. But how horrific and horrifying would that have been to do all that? And that's something that I think the show was really able to do, from when he reemerges later in the series, or the different creatures, the different, what do they call them, Titans in this one?
Yeah.
Start showing up. I'll borrow your word, Rob. There's a verisimilitude to it that a show like this has no business having.
Right.
A show like this has no business having that kind of grounded feel, given the ridiculous concept. But that's one of the reasons why I'm really excited about this one. And now them bringing in Kong and stuff like that, who I'm more of a Kong guy than I am a Godzilla guy. Big fan of them both, but Kong all day. I know, just heightens it for me. So I'm really stoked for this.
Me too.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? The brand new trailer for Monarch Season 2 with Kurt Russell is now dropped and online. I think it looks great. I really did like the first season. I'm super excited about this one. How did you feel about it? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this. After Battlestar Galactica, which I think is the greatest TV show of all time, the Ronald D. Moore version, in my top 3 is a show by showrunner Kurt Sutter. We were just talking about Kurt Russell. Kurt Sutter, called Sons of Anarchy, which is basically...
I never would have guessed that's one of your favorite shows.
Yeah, God, man. Yeah, you wouldn't know. By the way, guys, this was an on-set, fully autographed by all the cast Sons of Anarchy cut that I've got back here. Anyway, that aside, it's just, I think it's one of the most brilliant, fantastic, character-driven shows I've ever seen. Well, now, Kurt Sutter is getting back into the outlaw biker gang scene, as Deadline is reporting that Jason Momoa and Sons of Anarchy's Kurt Sutter and Chris Collins have a New Zealand set outlaw biker series called Nomad coming to Apple TV. This is what they say. Apple TV is developing the series Nomad with some high testosterone elements at the top. Jason Momoa is poised to star in the drama that is co-created by Sons of Anarchy's Kurt Sutter and Chris Collins in the violent underworld of New Zealand's outlaw bikers. A warrior torn between 2 lives, 2 callings, 2 families must decide which path defines his true destiny. All right. You had me at Jason Momoa as a biker.
J Momo.
and the Sons of Anarchy creator writing the thing and being one of the creators of the show as well. That's enough right there. Look, Apple TV is having a lot of luck with Jason Momoa. They did the show C with him, which everybody seemed to like. Listen, I'm a big Jason Momoa fan. I got to admit, I didn't like C.
I didn't either.
Oh, you didn't either? Okay, yeah.
I was not in it.
Most people I know really quite liked it. I didn't enjoy it. Then, what's the new one he's got where he's the tribal chief?
C. Right?
Also called C.
Yeah.
No, what's the name of that?
No,
War Chief or
yeah,
something like
I think
that.
it's
Chief of War or something
Chief
like
of
that.
War, I believe it is.
Which just got
Yes.
bonkers reviews all over the place. People love that series. And so Apple, not to mention he had one of the highest grossing films of the year with Minecraft. Apple wants to stay in the Jason Momoa game. And listen, if you had told me Kurt Sutter was doing another biker show and there's a famous guy who's going to be in it, I have to admit, I wouldn't have thought of Jason Momoa. But once you mention him, I'm like, of course, Jason Momoa. Of course. He's perfect for this. So again, a lot of this goes back to my love of Sons of Anarchy, but still, sign me up. I'm all for it. Rob, you hear about this. What's standing out to you?
Look, I mean, Jason Momoa, he could lead the rest of his life on a motorcycle, and I would be fine with that. I love that. You know, Lobo's got his space motorcycle. Now Jason Momoa is going to be in New Zealand. The only thing that I think is kind of funny about this idea is that the fact that this is set in New Zealand, you know, having lived in New Zealand, working on the behind the scenes stuff from Lord of the Rings and then Chronicles of Narnia, I love New Zealand. It's like one of my favorite places I've ever been, but it's just not that big. You know, when I think of a biker gang like Sons of Anarchy, California's big. You know, you got the total American. To me, biker gangs belong in the American Southwest, kind of like an adjunct of that doesn't mean. I mean, of course, the East Coast has their own biker gangs, but to me, you know, it's Easy Rider. You want to be on that chopper like Captain America, riding the highways and byways of the great American Southwest, and build your criminal empire there. I'm just like, how if you're a biker gang in New Zealand, like everyone knows where you are all the time. Like, how do you commit any kind of criminal activity? I mean,
They're also so nice in New Zealand.
I know everyone's so nice in New Zealand. It's a kinky place, though. New Zealand is a kinkier place than you might imagine.
I don't think that's true at all. Because I've always imagined it to be. There is
The Shire's got it going on. Let me tell you.
There is one kind of elephant in the room that should sort of be addressed. Again, Kurt Sutter has made one of my all-time favorite shows. However, in the last years since Sons of Anarchy, he's either been fired off of or has quietly departed a number of shows. Starting with very high profile, he got booted off of his Sons of Anarchy spinoff series, Mayans, which started really strong and then kind of went downhill. I loved Mayans for the first few seasons, then it kind of went downhill. Maybe that has something to do with Kurt Sutter leaving the show. I don't know. Then there were a couple other shows that Kurt Sutter was on and then kind of left for one reason or another, as to the best of my understanding. I don't know. Does he actually follow through on this one? Maybe. But really, how good is it to be Jason Momoa right now? I mean, you got several hit shows. You're in one of the biggest movies of the year with Minecraft. Oh, and by the way, you're Lobo, and you got that Supergirl movie coming out. I mean, it's not a bad time to be Jason Momoa. Good for him, man.
And isn't he dating who we think should be Wonder Woman?
Oh, yeah.
Arjona.
Yeah, that's right.
Arjona.
From Andor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot that he was dating her. Yeah,
Large.
yeah,
And-
life is good.
And maybe he'll be in the next and last Fast and the Furious movie, coming back again.
If there is a last Fast and the Furious movie,
Last Fast.
to which he says there's still no script. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Apple TV, which is cranking out like quality show after quality show after quality show, is getting in the biker business with Jason Momoa and Sons of Anarchy creator Kurt Sutter. I'm really excited to see how this turns out. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. Oh, and I just remembered, he's coming back as Duncan Idaho.
Yes, he is.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
That's the Gola of Duncan, Idaho in
Yeah.
Dune 3.
All right, guys. That down. Let's move on to this, shall we? Every once in a while, a headline comes out. It's like, I never even thought about this, but man, this sounds great. And today is one of those days. Deadline is reporting that Colin Farrell and the Russo brothers are partnering on a comic-based film called Ordained, which is an action thriller. I've never heard of Ordained. There's a reason for that, I guess. But listen to this. Colin Farrell will portray a priest. I love this. This is the best elevator pitch. Colin Farrell will portray a priest in an action thriller film Ordained, based on the upcoming comic book from publisher Bad Idea, sources confirmed at Deadline. The Batman and the Penguin actor has teamed up with the Russo brothers' Agbo banner. That's the Russo brothers production company for the adaptation. He will star as Father Roy Craig, who performs last rites on a mob boss, but the mob boss survives. and having confessed his crimes to the father, puts gangsters, hitmen, and corrupt cops on his trail to silence him for his knowledge. However, here's the twist. Father Roy has a violent past that prepares him for the onslaught, though he adheres to the sixth commandment of thou shalt not kill. John Wick writer Derek Kolstad wrote the script and will produce alongside a couple other guys. What a pitch!
I'm in.
Bringing a new meaning to Bible Thumper. See the tag on
What a pitch! First of all, like, okay, the non-killing thing, put that to the side for a second. The whole idea, mob boss confesses everything to a priest, but it turns out he doesn't die, and now there's this priest who knows all this stuff. That's great, all by itself. The extra twist. This guy was probably some kind of high-level lethal warrior at some point, but he does not believe in killing. I love this.
So he's Batman.
So he's kind of Batman. The Penguin becomes the Batman. Except Batman does kill a lot of people, but that's besides the point. To see him come into this, and first of all, Colin Farrell, it's so funny getting to the age that he's at now. I feel like he's just hitting the height of his power.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just feel like he's getting better and better. His performances are incredible. I've always thought he's been a terrific actor. But yeah, the whole idea of this, like a John Wick, but he just doesn't kill people. He's gonna, what's the movie where they say, oh yeah, I think it was in Aladdin, where they say like, I can't kill you, but you'd be surprised what you can survive, what you can live through. I think it was Aladdin 2 that was in. Correct me if I'm wrong about that. But this whole idea about the amount of creative violence they're going to have to come up with in here of all these ways.
That wasn't Princess Bride?
Well,
Wait,
no,
when he's talking...
that was in the torture chamber, but I think it's connected to the genie's thing. Yeah, people in the live chat saying, yeah, it was the
Return of Jafar.
Because as a genie, you can't kill anybody, but you'd be surprised what you could live through.
Yeah.
Where was? Oh yeah, the amount of creative violence they're going to have to come up with to have this wild, jaw-dropping action and violence, but it's got to be stuff that doesn't actually kill anybody. I think they're going to have to get really creative. The fact that it's from a John Wick writer, Colin Farrell, Russo brothers producing. Why not? This sounds great to me. Rob, you heard about this. What do you think?
What's not to love? You know, I mean, look, you everything about this appeals to me. And no, but is it a movie or a series?
Film.
It is. Okay, so yeah, that's great. I'm in. Count me in. I mean, we need a priest that kicks ass. I love priests as characters. That's why I love The Exorcist so much. You know, it's about a priest who's lost his faith by confronting Satan or the demon in the movie, Pazuzu. He gets his faith back and saves the soul of a little girl. I love that. I love anything to do with priests kicking ass. So this is, and I'm not even Catholic. I just love priests kicking ass. I can't wait to see this. It sounds awesome to me.
Yeah, and again, I have not read the comics. It apparently hasn't come out yet.
Right.
By the way, total rabbit hole side note thing. Speaking of like little known comics that should have been a movie, did you ever read Daymen?
No.
It's this comic series about this guy who's just a regular guy, but his job, he works for a vampire family.
Yeah.
Because they can't be out in the daytime. So he carries out all their business in the day. He's the day man. It's a terrific comic series.
Are you guys still watching Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
No.
Anne is. I'm not. No.
Wait till she gets to Nightman.
Okay. I'll remind her of that. But anyway, yeah. So this sounds great to me, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about the sounds of this? Ordained. Colin Farrell as a priest who's being chased after by hitmen of a mob boss who confessed all of his sins to him and now needs to silence him. But he's a super badass that doesn't kill people. This sounds great to me. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? We're going to play ourselves a little game of what's more likely. We play this game every once in a while. Of course, the way it works is I jump on the our YouTube channel. We ask in our community tab, pardon me, for you guys to send in some what's more likely scenarios. Jonathan's picked out a few that he thinks are good. Jonathan, what do we got up first?
All right, Rob.
Uh-oh.
Tell us what's more likely here when we hear from the antagonistic Anonymous. Tom Holland becomes or misses the chance to be first actor in Hollywood to lead 2 separate billion-dollar films released in the same month. So he becomes or he misses the chance?
Yeah, what's more likely? Does he become the first lead actor to lead the lead actor in 2 films in 1 month to each make $1 billion? Or
I was thinking two movies in the same month.
Yes.
I thought it's 2 movies in 1 month. Like, I mean, 2 movies in a month. So they make it takes them a month to make $1 billion because Spider-Man and what's the other movie?
Odyssey.
Oh.
They're both coming out in July.
Yeah, same month.
So what's more likely, that he does become the first actor to be the lead actor of 2 billion-dollar films in the same month?
You know what?
That he
I'm gonna go in on that. I'm gonna say yes.
More
I'm
likely
gonna say
that?
I think that's likely. I think only because I want to believe, John. I want to live in a world where that happens. But here's the thing. So I'm gonna say yes. However, I want to put a caveat on that and say I don't think Odyssey is gonna make $1 billion.
Uh-huh.
Well, how can you say yes if you don't think Odyssey is going to make $1 billion?
Well, because
opposing.
He's positing a scenario that I choose to believe in. I want to believe in it. If that
But
scenario
you don't
happens,
believe in it.
But the thing is, in real life, I don't think the Odyssey is going to make $1 billion.
All right. Well, then you think it's more likely that he's not going to do it.
Your heart tells you one thing, your mind
Yeah,
tells
that's
you the
what
other.
it is.
Yeah, but you got to pick
intellect-
one. You got to pick one. Which one is more likely?
Okay, fine. I'm going to say I'm not going to bet against C Note, so I'm going to go all in.
All right.
I think it's likely that he will be.
All right. I think it is more likely that he's not, for the same reason that you're wavering, because I don't think the Odyssey makes $1 billion.
I don't either.
Now, let me give a caveat. I think it's possible the Odyssey makes $1 billion. Absolutely, I think it's possible. I'm not going to be shocked if I find out, 7 months from now that it makes $1 billion. But if I had to bet $2 on it, I'm betting it makes $800-900 million, super big hit. But I don't think it becomes a $1 billion film. Spider-Man, no problem. Spider-Man's, the last one made almost $2 billion. This one will make $1 billion.
But you know what, John? You know what the most important thing about the Odyssey is? Is that all the people that go that have no idea that it has source material that's thousands of years old, they're going to discover there's a prequel called the Iliad, and hopefully it will cause people to read books again.
Yeah.
And we're all going to be $1 billion richer.
That's the least likely scenario.
Yes, that is the least likely scenario. All right, what's next?
All right, John, what's more likely here when we hear from Salty Raccoon, Dune 3 moves, or they try to make it a Barbenheimer event, Doomsday?
Yeah, they both come out on, what's the date they both come out on? The 19th?
I think the 19th.
December 19th? Yeah, listen, a lot of people don't realize it, that as of right now, to the best of my knowledge, Dune 3 and Avengers Doomsday are scheduled to come out on the exact same day. We now live in an era where I don't think 2 big films opening on the same day is necessarily a bad thing anymore.
No.
But like in the scenario of Barbenheimer, you had Barbie and Oppenheimer, 2 polar opposite films that were going after completely different audiences. I think there's an awful lot of crossover and overlap between the audiences that are looking forward to seeing Dune 3 and the audiences that are looking forward to seeing Avengers Doomsday. I don't think you can open both these films on the same day. They will both suffer for it. One of them might suffer more than the other, but they'll both suffer for it. So yeah, I think one does move, and like, quite frankly, I think it's going to be Dune. And I don't think they're going to move it back. I don't think they're going to move it into 2027 because they want Dune 3 to come out right in the heart of Oscar season.
And they've already owned that date for the previous Dune movies.
Yeah. So I see them moving the release date for Dune 3 up. Like maybe, November sometime, something like that. I think the most likely scenario is it is more likely that Dune moves than Avengers moves. And by the way, neither of them might move, but I think they will, and I think it's going to be Dune. Rob, what about you?
I think that they're going to move one. I think I go the other way, though. I think that that Doomsday is going to move up to the Thanksgiving arena because they've had more time to work on it than Dune 3 has, so they're going to be finished. Although my imaginary scenario that Doomsday is going to be a 2-part movie that they're going to announce with the first part at their big trailer. That's why it's taking so long. That Dune Part 1 or Doomsday Part 1 will come out for the summer, and Doomsday Part 2 will come out for the holiday season before Thanksgiving. That's my imaginary scenario.
Right. For those people watching our show for the first time, by the way, this is a theoretical thing that we're theorizing. That don't go right. Wait a minute, I heard they're split. Yeah. That's just what we're theorizing.
But I also to come back down to the real world. Let's say they don't move. Let's say both. I think it'd be really cool if Warner Brothers and Disney started early on and developed a co-marketing campaign and just go in on the Doomsday scenario where, unlike Barbenheimer, they make movie posters with Paul Atreides and Doctor Doom like facing off against one another and really lean into it and turn it into a cinematic event. Now, that idea might belittle both movies, but wouldn't it be cool if that the studios did that and it made this, you could turn it into the most gigantic movie event ever. They're not going to do that, but it'd be cool if they did.
No, they absolutely won't do it, but you're absolutely right. That would be like, if they could look at what, at some point somebody's going to do it, because you look at what happened with
fans are going to do it. I'm sure somebody's already done it.
But I mean officially do it.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you look at what happened with Barbenheimer, like, listen, you had the key players of both films on their own social medias actively promoting the other films. Like, I remember Margot Robbie did that big thing where she was like, I just saw Oppenheimer. It's so awesome. And you had like one or two people from Oppenheimer going, Barbie is so good and blah, blah, right?
Well, you even had Tom Cruise getting in on the action.
Yeah, Tom Cruise did a bit of that too.
It was like, had nothing to do with him.
Why not take that one step further? Right. If you're a studio, to say, hey, what if we like get now? Here's the main reason why I don't think it's going to happen with Dune and Avengers Doomsday. Because it would, in scale, it would need to be something like Barbenheimer, where both of those films are going to be right around $1 billion films. This is a case where I don't think Dune's going to be $1 billion film. It's just not for everybody. Whereas Doomsday, I don't think will hit $2 billion, but it has the potential to be a $2 billion. Like, we're talking about one movie being twice as big as the other. So that kind of throws that out. It'll take two movies that are both big and roughly equally big. But I think at some point, two studios will get together and do something
I just think, I mean, you got the conclusion of Denis Villeneuve's Dune trilogy.
But it hasn't built up the audience.
Yeah, although the second one made a lot more money than the first one at the box office. But
yeah, it did.
It's more into, I mean, it's literary
there also
property.
Wasn't a pandemic to deal with.
What did the second one make? Like 700 million?
Something like that.
Can you look that up, Jonathan?
I just think in terms of excitement for me personally, as a lifelong fan of Cinefantastique, the idea of a Dune movie.
It made 714.
714.
The idea of a Dune movie and an Avengers movie opening on the same day is an ejaculation of excitement that I could seldom have believed would ever happen when I was a kid.
I will be at the theater all weekend.
Okay.
Just rotating back and forth between the two films. I'm going to go see a screening of Doomsday, then a screening of Dune, then back to Doomsday.
You guys are going to be dehydrated.
It's this, but it is for the time being, neither movie has moved.
Yeah.
So for just right now, I can sit there and think to myself that there is a day. Remember, I've already chosen to be excited about Doomsday. I've made it a lifestyle choice. But the idea of these two movies coming out is, for me, one of the most exciting thing that's ever happened in terms of things I'm interested in seeing.
By the way, I see some people in live chat saying, "Oh, this one will be delayed." One of the things I feel very certain about saying, neither will be delayed. Mm-hmm. I think one of them moves, but either one that moves, I think they're going to move up. I don't think they're going to delay into 2027. I think they'll move it earlier in the year.
I think it's going to be Doomsday, and it's going to move into the Thanksgiving arena.
All right.
As a small aside, looking at 2027, one of these movies probably isn't actually happening. One of them will probably move. But December 17, 27, you've got Hunt for Gollum and Secret Wars on the same day.
Yeah, that's another we'll have to talk about at some point.
Yeah, and Star Wars Jedi Order, which isn't happening anyway.
Yeah, that's not happening anyway, so I don't have to worry about it.
All right.
What's next?
Let's see. Rob, what's more likely here when we hear from Erica Boccia, possibly. Most likely to get a sequel, Wonka or Greatest Showman?
Ooh, I think Greatest Showman. I do. I think
actually
Greatest
the way I go,
Showman.
too.
I mean, the thing about Wonka is the Greatest Showman's based on a real guy. And some people believe that Willy Wonka is real, but we all know he isn't. And maybe it would be easier to make a Wonka sequel, but I just think it's more likely that we'd get a Greatest Showman. But then again, maybe the Greatest Showman's played out. I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to say it's more likely we're going to get Wonka.
You talked yourself out of
I
it.
talked myself out of it, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I think The Greatest Showman is the best musical movie ever made. I make no apologies for that. I really do believe that. But I don't think there's any chance they do a sequel for it. I think all the players involved have moved on. I don't think there's any chance. While I do think there's a chance that they do a sequel to Wonka, that movie quietly made over $600 million. Like it made like 630. I want to say.
When he wins the Academy Award for Marty Supreme, they're going to use that option they have to make a sequel to announce it.
Yeah, you know what? He's on record. He had a ball making that movie.
Yeah.
And that movie was
You
way
were close,
better.
634.
634. That movie was way better than it had any business being. And by the way, Hugh, who plays the Oompa Loompa?
Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant. Yeah, I want to say Jackman.
Yeah.
Hugh Grant as the Oompa Loompa killed me.
Oh, yeah.
Like absolutely killed me. He'll probably come back for that. So again, I'm not saying there will be a sequel to Wonka, but I think it's much more likely that there's a sequel to Wonka than there is for The Greatest Showman.
I was right. I changed my own mind.
All right, what's next?
John, what's more likely here when we hear from Curtis Morris? Avengers Doomsday to make less than $1 billion or more than $2 billion at the box office?
That's actually a really good question. Because I don't think either are happening. I don't think it makes under $1 billion, and I don't think it makes over $2 billion. I'm going to say, given the state of the MCU right now, it is more likely that it makes under $1 billion. 800, 900 million dollars, whatever. And again, I don't believe that's going to happen at all. But I see Doomsday making 1.3, 1.4 billion.
So
That's
it'd be the
closer
least
to
grossing
one.
Avengers film of all time.
Yeah, I think that's possible. I think that like, and if I'm right, which I might not be, but if I am right, that it's going to make 1.3, 1.4 billion dollars. That puts it closer to 1 billion than 2. So even though I do not think it'll make under $1 billion, I feel more strongly that it won't make over 2. So, and I hope I'm wrong about that. And ask me again once we see the trailer. So I'm going to say it's more likely that it makes under, even though I don't think it will. Rob?
I'm going to have to go, since it's an either or, I'm going to go with more. I'm going to go with 2 billion.
You're going to think it's more likely that it makes over 2.
Yeah, because I can't believe that I can't see this movie grossing less than $1 billion only because it is an Avengers movie. And most people don't think about it as hard as we do. But because, and also if it made less than $1 billion, it would be a huge disaster.
Dude, if those Transformers movies
well,
made over $1 billion,
it'll be a huge perception, but it's not a huge disaster. Because that's still way profitable and makes
yeah,
them
but the
tons
budget
of money.
of this movie is enormous.
I know, but at $950 million, it doesn't matter how big the budget is. It's still quite profitable.
I don't know about that.
It is. Absolutely. Do the math. It totally is.
I think, though, that it has to make over $2 billion. I think I'm going to go with that.
It has to make
well,
over?
no, I mean, I'm going to
Okay.
either or. I'm going to go with the I think it does, but I think either I'm going to go with the $2 billion.
Yeah, so my actual projection,
because I choose to believe that Doomsday is going to be this wonderful experience. And by the way, as a longtime comic book fan, I'm not going to lie. This is going to be the biggest, most hardcore comic book mashup that's ever been put on film.
probably
And I'm there for it. And I am
for
I
good
can't wait.
or for ill. So, but let me see. I'm pegging that it's probably going to be 1.3, 1.4 billion. Where do you actually put it? If you had to guess, where would you put it maybe land?
I think, honestly, I think it's going to be somewhere between what it's going to be more. I think it's going to be more than Avengers and more than Age of Ultron. It's going to be above.
so like 1.5.
So above 1.5. It's got to be above 1.5.
Okay. And again, let's have this discussion again after we see the trailer.
Yeah,
Because I might
because-
go higher, I might go lower. We'll see.
Yeah, I think that's why this trailer is the most important trailer of all. Plus, I just like the fact that we have something that we're really excited to see. And lest we not forget, 3 hours and 15 minutes of Avatar,
Because
baby.
I'll tell you what, man, if this trailer starts with somehow Tony Stark has returned, then it's done. It's doomed.
Yeah,
It's
it
doomed.
is
Oh, no
doomed. No.
pun intended.
Yeah,
All
there
right,
you go.
let's
But they
move
make
on.
banger trailers.
They do. All right, what's next?
All right, Rob. What's more likely here? We're gonna hear from not Curtis Morris. We heard from them. What's Watson Duncan? 11 will survive in Stranger Things season 5, or 11 dies along with the Upside Down.
I have a theory about this.
Ooh, do hit me.
I think 11 is part of the reason the Upside Down exists in the first place. It has something to
She's
do.
a Horcrux.
It has something to do
I
with
was
her.
about to say the exact same thing.
She has something to, and in messing or creating the powers that she has, it led to the creation of the Upside Down, and she has to die. That's
Yeah.
my theory.
Now, I like that theory. Here's the you know what? Someone's gonna have to help me out with this, because in Harry Potter, going back to the Horcrux stuff,
Yeah.
right? It was stated explicitly the only way to destroy Voldemort was for Harry Potter to die.
Because he was one of the last Horcruxes.
And yet they destroyed Voldemort without Harry Potter having to die. I never
Well, no,
really
because he had the he died, but he had the stone. He had the Sorcerer's Stone that can bring him back to life.
I thought they destroyed the Sorcerer's Stone.
No, if he didn't have, because that's what he had. That's
All
what
right.
was in the ring.
kind of lost that. I also believe that 11 dies.
Because they're going to hit us with that sad ending.
Yeah, listen, I saw an interview with Sean Levy, one of the executive producers and directors of the show. And he said the finale broke him. Said it broke him. Now, so clearly somebody dies. Whether it's Hopper or whether it's one of the other kids. I tend to agree with you. I think it's 11, and I think it's going to have to be with the fact that the only way to truly seal off the Upside Down or destroy the Upside Down is for her to sacrifice herself one way or the other. So again, I have no insider information on this, but I believe it's more likely that she dies.
Yeah, it's like what Dino De Laurentiis said when the 1976 King Kong came out. He said, "When the Mike Kong die, everybody cry." And I think that's true of, that's a terrible Italian accent. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was pretty
I
bad.
have to apologize to all the Italians,
That's us
including
too.
you, John.
And me.
But I do think that that's no one else dying would carry the emotional wallop that 11 dying would have.
Yeah.
And if Sean Levy did say that, I believe more strongly than ever 11 is going to die.
All right. What's next?
All right, John, we're going to move on to the next one here.
Let's
how do you
go.
do that? I need to take
When you're
lessons from
three-quarters
you.
of Italian in it.
Bada-bee-bada-boo-ba-da-boo-ba.
Monday,
Little Family
Tuesday,
Guy thing.
Saturday, Sunday.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday.
All right. So I think this is our final one here. John, what's more likely when we hear from Ethan Corrigan? Tom Cruise is making another Mission Impossible movie, or Keanu Reeves making another John Wick in the future?
Well, for many reasons, the answer to this one is obvious. Keanu Reeves doing a John Wick movie. Number one, because there's already been a lot of statements by the filmmakers that they are working on developing the next John Wick film. It hasn't been officially green yet, lit or anything, and all that kind of stuff. But we all know another John Wick film is coming, and Keanu Reeves will be in it. So there's that. But even in the absence of that, let's say we haven't had all these stories about the filmmaker saying we're already working on developing it and seeing what we can come up with. Even if it wasn't for that, I would still say it's more likely that we would get Keanu Reeves in another John Wick than Tom Cruise in a Mission Impossible, because just look at the trajectory of the two franchises. Every John Wick film has made more money than the last. It's gone, again, to quote K-pop Demon Hunters, up, up, up. It just keeps, that's the way it goes. And it crescendoed at number 4. It just keeps going up. Juxtapose that against the Mission Impossible franchise, which is not going in that direction. And I think just on that, you could say it, but you would put both those things together. I think the answer is clear that there is a much higher chance, because I actually don't think we're going to get another Tom Cruise Mission Impossible.
I don't either.
I don't think we are.
The last two films don't justify spending the kind of money they spent.
And you look, Tom Cruise has got like 7 films lined up right now already, and none of them are called Mission Impossible. Whereas I really would put money on that we will imminently get an announcement about John Wick 5. So yeah, I'm going to go with that one. Rob, what about you?
100%. John Wick 5 all the way. Look, man, everyone knows if I'm going to get a Tom Cruise movie from Paramount Skydance, I want the Les Grossman movie. That's what I want. They can make that for less than $100 million. I mean, you put Tom Cruise in that movie, you shoot it for $50 million. That's a damn big hit waiting to happen. We don't need more.
Not a huge budget either.
That's what I said. Like $50 million bucks, man.
All right.
40 of which goes to Tom.
40 of which comes up.
Yeah, I know, right?
That will wrap up today's little version of What's More Likely. Thank you to everybody who sent in the What's More Likely scenarios. And keep your guys' eyes open on the channel for when we put out our call for you guys to put in submissions. All right. With that down, guys, let's move on to this. Well, there's a Masters of the Universe movie coming. When, in June? I think its release date is in June. You guys can correct me in the live chat if you will. And listen, there was nobody more skeptical and pessimistic about it than me.
Box office doesn't have an exact date outside of 26.
Yeah, I think it's June. Anyway. But then something weird happened. We were at CinemaCon, and they gave us this big presentation on it, and they showed us a bunch of stuff that they still haven't made public, that they still have not made public. And like Rob and I, both of our reactions was, what? Does this actually
and then
look...
the Who played.
Yeah. Does this actually look good? And we're, it's not just me. We're like, this actually looked good, right? And we were like, oh my God, this. And then we started going, well, should we be all that surprised? It is Travis Knight. Travis Knight, who made the best Transformers movie with the Bumblebee film, which Paramount totally dropped the ball on and not having him do a follow-up sequel. And of course, he did the magnificent Kubo and the Two Strings. And his dad ran Nike. But he's a terrific director. I thought, well, maybe we shouldn't be so, but this actually looked good. And then we saw some production pictures that looked utterly ridiculous. I'm not talking about what we saw at CinemaCon. I mean, we saw, Prince Adam hanging out in a mall in the big puffy pink shirt. And we all thought, well, this looks crazy. But then I said the other day, I mentioned, we didn't do a topic about it. I just mentioned it offhand when we were talking about something else. That I know somebody who has seen an early cut of the film. Who did not have much enthusiasm for this movie and said to me, John, it's amazing. And he was stunned. Like, he was totally shocked, totally surprised. But he said, it's really good. It's amazing. So I kind of mentioned that offhand. Now, this happens sometimes where I don't even make a topic out of it. I don't make a video out of it. I just say something offhand here or there. And then things like this happen where other outlets will take it and run headlines based on something that I said in the show. Master of the Universe first reaction revealed, test screening reportedly takes place. And they kind of quote that we said that in the show. Well, they are right that a test screening was taking place last night. There were two. One was on the East Coast, and one was in they mentioned in the article in California. Well, it wasn't just in California. I can tell you the exact theater it was in. It was in, I'll just tell you the city. It was in Irvine. It was where they did a test screening of it last night. And I knew it was in Irvine because I had one of our viewers tell me last week that they were going to that screening. That was last night. And last night and today, I heard from two more people. One was at the one on the East Coast. One was at the one in California. The one in California said, your source who saw the movie was absolutely right. This felt to me like it had the spirit of that first Thor movie, which are magic words to me because I think the first Kenneth Branagh directed Thor film is the second most underrated and underappreciated comic book film of all time. Only behind My Boy Henry and Man of Steel. I think that first Thor movie is magnificent. I love it.
It also, the first Thor movie does a wonderful job of establishing a tone, going from Asgard to Earth. So that's the thing that made me excited when you told me that this morning, the idea that you make Masters of the Universe going between Earth and Eternia, and it has that feel that's really encouraging.
Because I think all of us going into that first Thor movie was, we don't want it on Earth. We want to see Asgard. Yeah. And yet Kenneth Branagh found a way to make the two work together so perfectly.
Yeah.
So then I heard from somebody who saw another screening of it, And their comment to me was simply this: this is Travis Knight's best film. Didn't say it's the greatest film of all time. I'm not even sure how much this person likes Kubo and the Two Strings or Bumblebee. Maybe they don't like those two movies at all, so saying this is his best film may not be saying much. So I've now heard from 3 people who have seen this movie in different stages of completion. One said it's amazing. One said it's got that spirit of that first Thor movie. And one said this is Travis Knight's best film. Now, let me give this huge disclaimer. These are not 3,000 people. These are 3 people.
With the mighty strength of 3,000.
With the strength of 3,000. I mean, listen, you can take any movie,
Yeah.
no matter how bad it is,
Yeah.
you can find 3 people who like it. You can find any movie, no matter how great it is, and you can find 3 people who don't. It's just 3 people. That's it. So let's not make too much of a mountain out of this when it is definitively a molehill. That being said, I still find it encouraging that every one of the people I've talked to so far are saying this looks great. And looks, I'm like a lot of people, I'm pessimistic about it too, because, well, let's be honest, Rob, in many ways on the surface, this movie looks ridiculous. But we did like the stuff we saw at CinemaCon.
Those set pieces looked amazing.
Yeah. And it is Travis Knight who has not let us down yet.
Yeah.
And maybe we shouldn't be all that surprised about hearing good things kind of it. But again, it's just 3 people. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Maybe it's ass. But I'd rather hear from 3 people that it's great than hear from the first 3 people all saying, this ain't it. Like, so it's still encouraging to me. Anyway, Rob, what's your takeaway from this? What do you think about it?
For me, knowing that, I mean, they tried to make this movie forever. You know, I read scripts.
Different versions.
I think it was Mark Prusevich wrote a script called Grayskull that I thought was really great years ago. This movie will live or die on the tone in which it's presented.
100%.
And the tone of this film is difficult, because I think a lot of people wouldn't take it seriously enough, and it has to be both serious and totally fanciful. It has to have both of these things. Hard to do. Travis Knight is one of the great directors working in Hollywood now that can nail that tone. And I interviewed him, I told you before Bumblebee came out, before he even started, I interviewed him briefly for a Hasbro licensing thing. And they were announcing the licensing for Bumblebee or whatever. And so I hung out with him while we were setting up the lights and had a long conversation with him. Very impressive guy. And he was telling me how he was going to approach the Transformers franchise and how he grew up with it and how much it meant to him. But I was like, well, and when I saw Bumblebee, I'm like, that dude nailed it.
He did it. He totally did it.
Everything he told me. So when I heard he came on to direct this movie, I'm like, okay. But then they made another choice, and I'm sure Travis Knight made this choice that sold me on the whole thing. And that was hiring production designer Guy Hendricks Dias, or just Guy Dias. Guy Dias, I met him briefly, but I didn't really know him on the set of X2. And then he was the production designer on Inception. He was the production designer on Michael Mann's Black Hat, which, by the way, if you watch the director's cut, it's much better than the theatrically released version. He was a production designer on Passengers, Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt.
Yep.
But I like that movie. The production design's insane.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the movie, but the production design is insane.
And the thing what Guy Dias does is he brings the right tone to things. Oh, and by the way, I spent a year with him in Australia on Superman Returns, and if you look at the sets, the Art Deco sets in that film, every single set was absolutely stunning. And to walk around on them, he's the right guy, because that dude would work with Travis Knight to create Eternia the way it should be seen. And all of that, we saw what the costumes look like.
Yeah, some of the sets and
the set design and everything. So I believe between the two of those people, they're going to bring us the world the way it should. I'm willing to go out on a limb. I bet it's the greatest He-Man thing ever made.
Oh, I don't think that's on a limb. I mean,
there's a high bar.
Not
for
a high,
that, to be honest.
Because the show has always, at first, it was designed to sell toys.
Yeah.
Yes.
But this is going to be the first time it's going to be moved out of that realm, and we're going to get a legitimately great classic fantasy film that will be talked about. It'll be in the higher upper echelons of movies like this. And I can't believe I'm even saying this about a Masters of the Universe movie. But after that presentation at CinemaCon, I'm like, man, I am so in on this. And I heard a few things afterwards. Like, to be fair, I contacted certain people. I'm like, hey man, is Battle Cat in this movie or what?
Oh, he is.
Yeah, I
Battle
know.
Cat's in the movie.
I know,
Oh,
but
yes.
we didn't know that when we saw the, and that's all. I'm like, give me some Battle Cat, and I found out about a lot of other things, favorite things of mine that just from the He-Man universe that are also in this movie, and I'm like, hell yeah! I never thought I'd be as excited about this movie. Doesn't this come out next year too?
Yeah, June.
In June.
Oh, we
June.
pause it. June.
We're like 6-7 months away from it coming
Jeez,
out.
man, we are getting some crunchy goodness. We're going to be eating well in 2026.
And by the way, we may not be all that far from a trailer dropping.
no, we have to be close.
I've read some reports of some early cuts of the trailer. We are starting to get into that zone, that 6 to 5 months out from a movie zone where a first trailer may drop. We could be very close to a first
for
trailer
the holidays,
dropping.
I bet there'll absolutely be a trailer in front of Avatar.
I don't know if in front of
Same
Avatar,
audience.
but I absolutely do believe by the holidays we will. Let me put it this way. I 100% believe we're going to get a trailer before the end of the year. And we're getting very close to the end of the year.
I mean, if you
I
think
think it
about
drops
it,
this month.
and this is also Amazon, this is Amazon MGM. This is the Amazon Studios year. 2026, as we saw, they had the most interesting presentation at CinemaCon. They have Project Hail Mary coming out in March. They have Crime 101 with Chris Hemsworth based on the Don Winslow novella coming out. They've got this coming out. They have a couple other movies. There's that one movie that I forget the name of it has a predominantly black cast that looked fantastic.
Oh,
it's got a strange...
God is in the title.
Yeah, yeah.
Something God.
Yeah,
And I can't remember. Yeah,
that
but I
movie
remember
looked
Yeah.
great,
It
and I think
did.
it's based on a play. I mean, I can't wait to see what Amazon delivers. I can't wait for next year.
By the way, somebody just mentioned something in the live chat that I totally forgot about, but that big growing Brazilian Comic-Con thing, CCXP,
yeah.
apparently is coming in early December.
Oh,
That would be as good of a place as
Yeah,
any
yeah.
to drop it.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
we should go to Brazil.
Dude, I've always wanted
don't
to go to
think you-
Brazil.
There's
What?
no universe where you say maybe we should go to Brazil to rob, and he
doesn't
say
say
no.
yes.
yeah,
Maybe we should go
Look,
to
man, I got my passport's all up to date. I got my real ID. I got my new passport.
You know, we don't even have to fly. We can just hop in Colossus.
just
It's
drive
all
it.
landlocked. Let's drive
That-
down to Brazil.
drive over
That
the
would be-
Panama Canal.
That would be awesome.
Take a road trip to Brazil.
I would totally do that. It's like, that the Polish girl she drove from the tip of Argentina all the way to Alaska. She's a YouTuber.
oh,
What's her name?
that's like long way
No, I
down
never
with
followed that.
Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, totally.
I wonder.
Eva. I forget her name.
I wonder how
love her.
long it would take to drive from Southern California to Brazil. Can't be all that much more than driving to Toronto.
Oh yeah, but you got to
Or
think about
Florida.
What's
you,
that?
You got to take into a factor road conditions as you go further south.
Yeah, isn't there like that
That's-
60
that
mile,
slows you down.
You have to go through like there's a horrible, like really difficult place to get.
I got to imagine
The
there's got
end
to be
of-
some legitimate modern road that takes you to Brazil. Or maybe not. I don't know. We'll find out.
I'm
Anyway,
in, dude.
There's
Let's
just
go.
no possible way to get there. I'm sorry, John.
you just can't do it. No one's ever been there.
How
Anyway,
awesome
guys.
would that be?
It would be pretty fun.
Now-
Listen, I've always, ever
Why'd
since
you have
I've
to bring
seen,
it up, John? Why'd you have to put that?
ever
thought in my
since
head?
I've seen, like starting about 3 years ago, starting to see all the stuff at this Brazilian Comic-Con that just looks wild. I've always kind of thought maybe it'd be fun to go to it. But anyway.
You know what's in Brazil?
Load up on caipirinhas.
Brazilian girls.
Oh God, dude.
And caipirinhas, the little drinky drink.
I've wanted to go to Brazil since I saw Moonraker.
I've wanted to go to Brazil ever since Hoist Gracie introduced the world to Gracie Jiu-Jitsu.
Hmm.
I want to go see that's the thing. I want to go to Brazil and see the Jiu-Jitsu places. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Granted, keep in mind, we are only talking about 3 people. They might end up being the only 3 people on the planet that like it. But I've only heard from 3 people, and every single one of them have all said this movie's really good. No one's saying it's the greatest film of all time or it's going to win an Oscar, but they're all saying, surprisingly, it's really quite good. Where are your expectations like right now? I won't blame you at all if they're pretty low. Mine have been low. Whatever you guys think about this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, it's time for us to move on to the main part of our show, which is, of course, taking your live comments and questions. Once again, if you have a live comment or question or topic, point of view, whatever, go ahead and use the super chat feature and fire it on in. We'll get to those in just a second. But before we do, we got 2 things we got to do. First, we have to bid good afternoon to writer, director, producer Robert Meyer Burnett. Thanks,
I'm starting
as always,
to pack.
my friend.
I'm going to go pack.
Get
I'm packing today. I'm
break
starting
out
to pack.
the passport.
I'm ready,
Down
John.
to
Let's
Brazil.
go.
The other thing we have to do here today, guys, is we've got to thank the sponsor of today's episode of the John Campea Show, our friends at Zapier. Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video, Zapier. You know, one of the biggest game changers of the past year has been AI. But let's be real, just talking about AI doesn't actually make your day any more productive. What does make it more productive is finding tools to put AI to work for you. And that's where Zapier comes in. Zapier is the easiest way to take AI and plug it directly into the apps and processes that you're already using every day. No IT bottlenecks, no complexity, just results. For me, it's been about saving time on repetitive stuff so I can focus on the work that matters and I actually enjoy. And it's not just me. Over 3.4 million companies are already using Zapier to streamline everything from sales and marketing to IT and HR. With their AI orchestration platform, you can connect top AI models like ChatGPT or Claude right into the apps you already use. So whether it's automatically enriching leads, coaching your sales team, or even resolving IT tickets, Zapier makes it simple. Guys, join the 3.4 million companies already automating with Zapier and transform how you work with Zapier and AI. Get started for free by visiting zapier.com/Campea. That's ZAPIER.com/Campea. And thank you to our friends at Zapier for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show. All right, guys, with that down, let's get on to your live comments and questions before we wrap up here, shall we? Jonathan, what we got up first?
Taki says, I don't understand people who say Badlands has been Disney-fied and the violence is toned down. Did they see the same movie with the rest of us?
No, again, trolls who never even saw the movie. There is a lot of violence in Predator Badlands. Again, the only difference is that none of the violence is carried out against human beings. It's all carried out against either synths or, because there are no human beings in the movie. It's either synths or other predators or aliens or whatever. And you can do all of that. As long as you're killing monsters or robots or vampires or zombies, you can do an awful lot of ungodly violence and still get that PG-13 rating because it's not against human beings. But anybody who tells you they toned down the violence, they absolutely did not. It's an extremely violent film.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Next up, we got Wayne, who says, hey, John, adding to the love of the game Dispatch. The whole season is complete. It's great. Love the choices you can make and where the story led. Yeah,
I got to tell you, I'm really excited about trying Dispatch. I just got myself a PlayStation Portable. Bought it last night. I found out from a friend of mine yesterday. I was having dinner with my buddy Ryan last night, and he mentioned he had a PlayStation Portable. I'd never even really heard of them before. And the way they work is they're handheld devices that connect to your PlayStation 5 at home. So then I got home and I pulled up some review videos, and lo and behold, just the other day, they did an update to it where you don't even have to have a PlayStation.
Yep.
You can just stream the games. And I've got terrific high-speed internet in the van, thanks to my 2 Starlinks.
Yeah.
And so I picked it up for like $179.
It's a
And
steal.
one of the reasons was
a
because
steal.
I want to play Dispatch.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to it. All right, what's next?
AL, what is the worst movie of the decade so far? Thunder Force, Expendables 4, Kraven the Hunter, or War of the Worlds? I mean,
there could be many others that are in the running, but
War of the Worlds is the worst, but it was not. Let's just go with theater.
It's
theater
not
release.
a theatrical film. Like if you're going to throw in there every little 2-bit streaming movie, whatever. So let's count actual movies, the ones that make it into theaters.
So,
although Thunder Force also was not a theatrical film.
Right.
But it was a big, major Hollywood production, unlike War of the Worlds.
Was Madam Web worse than Kraven? Or Kraven worse?
It doesn't matter. It's Thunder Force.
Oh, yeah.
Thunder Force. That is a crime against humanity, that movie. It's just, to me, it's as bad as Kraven was, and as bad as Madam Web is, and as bad as Light Between Oceans is, and as bad as several other films. Thunder Force is like one of those things of, how did this get made? Because you had great people involved in it too. How did this get made? It's just truly, truly awful. All right, what's next?
We got Raymond who says, Ariana Grande was rushed by celebrity stalker pajama man at Singapore leg of Wicked for Good. Oh, I see. In the Singapore leg of Wicked for Good. Cynthia Erivo protected her and the guards took him away. Wow.
Yeah, I heard some about that. I mean, it's one of those crazy things that can happen at these things. It's awful.
It's too bad. It's crazy.
All right, what's next?
Super Nintendo Chalmers says, if in 1 year there's no movement on the new Star Trek movie, over under 20%, an article comes out about the Abrams universe might not be dead.
Well, I mean, I think it's important to keep in mind that nobody at Paramount came out and said the Kelvin timeline is dead. No one at Paramount came out and said that. You know, it was an article in one of the major trades, and I think it needs to be given weight, that said, you know, they're moving on from it. But that was not Ellison. That was not J.J. Abrams. That was not anybody official. Do I think they're moving on from it? Yes, and it makes sense. But if they, for whatever reason, decide that they can't crack the code on how to move forward, because listen, I'll be honest with you, I really don't know how you make Star Trek relevant today. It's not Star Wars. It's never been as big. I just don't know that there is a way. I mean, yeah, you can make it in such a way that the 15 people out there who are still diehards of the original series and are celebrating their 75th birthdays might appreciate it. But I just don't know how you make Star Trek in a way that a new generation finds as exciting and engaging. And I just don't know how you do it. Anyway, maybe they do find a way, and I hope they do. But if they don't, if they go like a year and they're like, we can't crack this code, I don't think it's impossible they revisit the Kelvin one. I really don't. I think they need to try to move on and do something different. But if they can't, I'd be perfectly fine if they went back to the Kelvin. Again, I don't think it's likely. I don't think that's likely. But is it possible? Yeah, I think it's possible. All right, what's next?
We got Dakota who says, hey, John and crew, when you guys did your Who Might Be in Doomsday trailer, I have someone in mind. What about Nightcrawler in his red and black suit? I mean, he was in a chair.
Yes. Alan Cummings is in the chair. He is in the movie. But is he that level of popular, even amongst X-Men movie fans, that you're going to use some of those few precious seconds that you have to make this trailer? Are you going to use some of those seconds on a character that's not going to generate a lot of excitement amongst people? And so is it possible? Absolutely, it's possible because he's in the movie, but you've only got like 120 seconds. Probably about a good 30 of those seconds are just going to be for Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
So you're going to have about 90 seconds. Do you really use some of those seconds on Nightcrawler? I don't think you do. So I'm going to say, while it is possible, I'm going to say I doubt that Nightcrawler will be in the first trailer. The first trailer. I think they're going to focus on the things that will have the highest possibility of generating the most pop and excitement among fans. And the reality, Nightcrawler's not one of those characters. All right. What's next?
We got Dakota is back and says, also, just for fun, what if Marvel does 2 different trailers later for Doomsday, like House of the Dragons did the black and green trailer, and make an Avengers-focused trailer and an X-Men? I mean,
It's totally possible.
Yeah, they could do one that is
100%.
Is before Fire and Ash, and then that releases like after the weekend. And then a week later, they do one that's just was for the internet.
I don't think a week later. I think we're talking 4 or 5 months later. But
well, that would be trailer 2.
Because remember,
then.
yeah, that's what they're saying. Like, what if later trailers? I could see that. Yeah, why not? Where you show like the 2, because when House of the Dragon did that, that was brilliant.
Yeah,
I thought that was really effective and really brilliant. We are still a year away from that movie coming out, but yeah, I could see like future trailers kind of pinning opposite sides. By the way, we don't know that this movie has anything to do with X-Men versus Avengers.
Right.
We're all theorizing. It's certainly possible. Just saying we don't know that for a fact. But if it is, that would be a really good approach for them to do later on. But again, that would be months down the road.
All right, looks like this is our last of
All
the
right.
supers here. AL says, do you think an an anime cinematic universe with different IPs can work? Forget commercially. Can it even work as a cohesive franchise?
My answer is on like my first and foremost thing is to be honest. And my honest opinion is I don't care. I don't care about anime stuff.
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. Again, I'm not saying anybody else shouldn't care, but I don't care. And my first instinct for an answer is no, I don't think any of that can work cohesively because I don't think a lot of it works cohesively anyway. But yeah, I guess I'll go out on a limb and I'll say no.
We have one more
Okay.
that just popped in. It's from Fabio. He says, hi, John. I wrote you a few days back, and today you're talking about CCXP. Well, I will be at CCXP this year, and maybe next year too. Let's go. See you in Orlando for Wicked.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, listen, how realistic is it that we could get down to Brazil? I don't know, but I for years, I have been interested in doing that though. For years, I've been interested in trying to get down to Brazil for that CCXP. I don't know if this is the year that it'll happen, but maybe I'd be excited. I would love to get down there. I think it would be absolutely fun and hilarious. But anyway, and all right, guys, that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in questions, number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported our channel as you did it. And all of us involved with the show, thank you guys so very much for your support. Hey guys, don't forget to come on back and join us again tomorrow where Jonathan will have the day off, but me and Rob will be here. We're looking forward to seeing you then. So for Robert Meyer Burnett, our technical producer, Jonathan Voico.
See you guys.
My name's John Campea. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.